All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most challenging, maybe unsettling, but absolutely revolutionary philosophical books of the 20th century. We're talking about Jean-Paul Sartre's Being and Nothingness. Now, this isn't a book that's here to make you feel comfortable. Nope. It's a book designed to wake you up to the terrifying and exhilarating reality of your own existence.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty radical question. What if everything you think defines you, your job, your personality, your past, what if that's not the real story at all? What if the truth about who you are is actually found in the gaps, in the possibilities, in everything you haven't become yet?
And here's the follow-up, and this one's even more of a curveball. We spend so much time blaming our circumstances, our society, our fate for our problems. But what if the heaviest weight you carry, the very thing that causes your deepest anxiety, is the one thing you think you want more than anything else? Your own absolute, inescapable freedom. To get our heads around these huge ideas, we're going to follow Sartre's own roadmap. We'll kick things off with the existential crisis that got him started. Then we'll break down his two fundamental ways of being. From there, we'll stare right into the void that he says is at the heart of our consciousness. We'll confront that dizzying burden of freedom. And then, we'll expose the little lies we tell ourselves to escape it. And finally, we'll get to the heart of what it really means to be a human project. First off, you gotta understand the context here. Sartre published this book in 1943. Think about that. He's in the middle of Nazi-occupied France. This is a philosophy that was born in a world where all the old rules, all the old certainties, God, nation, purpose, they had just completely crumbled. So he was asking a fundamental question. What does it even mean to exist when there's no pre-written script?
And his answer was radical, and he summed it up in 3 words. Existence precedes essence. Think about it like this. A craftsman designs a paper knife with a purpose before it's even made. Its essence comes first. But for humans, Sartre says, it's the exact opposite. You're just thrown into the world first. You exist. And only then, through every single choice you make, do you start to create your own essence, your own purpose.
Okay, so how does this actually play out? Well, Sartre splits all of reality into 2 totally different categories, 2 completely different ways of being. On one side, you have what he calls being in itself. The easiest way to think about this is a rock. It's solid, it's complete, it's fixed, it has zero potential to be anything other than what it is. It never wakes up and worries about its rockness, it just is. But on the other side, there's being for itself, and that's us. That's human consciousness. We are fundamentally incomplete or open, and we're not defined by what we are right now, but by what we could be.
So this brings us to a really crucial question. If we're incomplete, what's in that gap? For Sartre, the answer is, and this is wild, quite literally, nothing.
You see, Sartre totally reframes what consciousness is. It's not some thing rattling around inside your skull. He says it's an absence of fixed being, a hole, a void. And this nothingness isn't a bad thing. It's the space that lets you imagine a different future, question the present moment, and make a choice. It's the one thing that separates you from just being a pre-programmed robot. And all of this leads to one of his most famous, and kind of mind-bending quotes. Man is a being who is what he is not and is not what he is. So, let's break that down. You are what you are not. That means you're defined by your future possibilities, the person you're trying to become. And you are not what you are. That means you're never just your current situation, your past mistakes, or your job title. You can always be something else. Okay, but if we are truly this open and undefined, well, the implications of that are absolutely staggering. And this is where Sartre's philosophy takes a sharp and honestly a pretty terrifying turn. What's coming up next is the absolute heart of his entire philosophy. It's just one powerful sentence that flips our whole idea of freedom right on its head. We are condemned to be free. Just listen to that word choice, condemned. He doesn't say we're blessed to be free or gifted freedom. It's a sentence. Why? Because you can't escape it. Every single moment of every day, you are choosing who you are. And even refusing to choose, well, that's a choice too. You can't blame God, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame society. The buck stops with you, always.
And that leads to a very heavy, unavoidable conclusion. Your responsibility for who you become is 100% total. And that realization that you and you alone are responsible for creating your own values and your own meaning, it's terrifying. Sartre calls the feeling this produces anguish. It's like the dizziness you feel when you're standing on a cliff edge, looking at your own limitless freedom. So if freedom is really that terrifying, how on earth do we cope with it? I mean, we're human, right? We find workarounds. According to Sartre, we cheat. We lie to ourselves in a very specific, very clever way. And he gave this little act of self-deception a name. He calls this escape bad faith. It's when we deceive ourselves by pretending we're an object, that we're like a rock, a being in itself. His famous example is a waiter who performs his job with this exaggerated, almost robotic precision. He isn't just a person doing a job, he's being a waiter. He's hiding his infinite freedom behind the safe, fixed definition of a role. And look, we do this all the time in so many ways. Have you ever heard yourself say, "Oh, I can't do that, I'm just not that kind of person," or "I have to do this, it's my job"? We're hiding behind a label. We pretend we're just an accountant, or just a parent, or just a cynical person. We're treating ourselves like fixed objects to escape that dizzying reality that at any moment we could choose to be different. It's all a game we play to justify saying the ultimate phrase of bad faith: "I had no choice."
But this isn't all doom and gloom. It's not a philosophy of despair. Because once you see the lie of bad faith for what it is, you can finally see the empowering truth that's been hiding behind it. And this brings us to Sartre's powerful, really constructive conclusion.
You are not a static object. You are not a finished product. You are a project. You are constantly under construction. Your past doesn't define who you are. It's just the raw material you have to work with today. You are always, right now, in the process of building yourself, one choice at a time. So what does this path to, an authentic life actually look like? Well, it boils down to about 5 crucial steps. First, you've got to accept that you weren't born with a script. Second, recognize that freedom is your basic condition. You can't escape it. Third, you have to embrace the total responsibility that comes with that freedom. Fourth, stay on guard, reject that temptation of bad faith and self-deception. And finally, number 5, understand that meaning isn't something you find, it's something you build through your actions. This quote just nails the entire spirit of this philosophy. Your past, your circumstances, yeah, that's the stuff that happened to you. But your identity, your real essence, that lies in what you choose to do with it. Right here, right now. And that leaves all of us with the ultimate question. It's the one Sartre's entire philosophy pushes us to answer, not with our words, but with our lives. The question isn't, who are you? It's, who are you choosing to become? The project is yours, and the work starts right now.